Shay. I know it's been a long time since I've been here on the video. I know I did a video last week about my prayers. And I just want to say thank you for those who got on my prayer circle. I do want to say one thing loud and clear before I begin my video. When you do big prayer requests, just remember this: it will take more than one prayer circle, and that means each prayer circle requires 3 days prayer mission. So if your prayer request is huge, that means you might be doing more than 3 to see better results. And I like to encourage, if you're going to ask for prayer from me, that you will also pray on your end. That the more that you do that, you will see the result. Because they always say, the more people praying in my name, with just Jesus, you will see your results. And when we say do more than one circle, that means you're going to pay a little bit more. Yes, my circles are only $10, but you do a big one, you might require to do maybe 3 or 4 prayers to see results. One is not going to be enough all the time, depending on the request. Not going to go into details, just saying that loud and clear. Just be familiar with that. If a prayer is big, you will not see a good result your first prayer unless you have already been praying for a while. And we have to remember that. But anyway, I want to go ahead and say a prayer, as I like to introduce the prayer process in my video. So I have to read it because I don't know this by heart. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He made me to lie down in the green pastures. He led me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He led me in the path of righteousness. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff that comforts me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemy. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup run over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Woo! And we pray that each and every one of you that watches my video get a blessing out of my video. Today I would like to talk about several topics, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to all of my topics. There's not a lot of topics to talk about. I would like to talk about daddy, because I did not talk about that at all. Fathers don't get recognized, especially the ones that are true fathers and really do the job of the position as a father, whether they are stepfathers or biological fathers. And I can really say that. My father is a true father. And another thing, before I begin that topic, those holidays of Father's and Mother's Day, don't just recognize it only on those days, recognize it all the time. Say it to your parents. I all the time tell my father and mother that you had a wonderful mom and dad. I say, you guys might have been stricken hard on me, but boy, I'm happy you were. I wouldn't be here where I am today. So I thank God for my mom and dad being so hard on me. Yeah, yeah, thank God, thank God. Because if they weren't hard on me, I could have been on the streets. I could have been anywhere but where I am today. So that's why we got to think about that. Compromise your mom and dad. They compromise you when you do something good. You know? I honor my parents almost every day, saying it wasn't for my mother or my father, I wouldn't be here today anyway. So anyway, let's get back to my topic on fathers. I don't like it when I hear a man say he got children and do nothing for it. How do you get that celebration or that honor if you do nothing about your role? Don't pretend like you do something and expect something in return if you ain't doing shit. You got to do something before you sitting there saying, "Ooh, I'm a good daddy." A good daddy takes a lot more than just sitting there and paying the bill and all that good stuff. I consider a good father is, yes, he pays the bills, he supports his children, he's a good role model, and he also is a part of that child's life. So I don't even really care if a father only comes around once a week. That's better than not seeing your father at all. I know some families don't have their fathers at all because they don't want nothing to do with you. And those are the ones that should not even get in the water. How are you going to get the money and you don't even include your child? You don't even give them the love and the comfort that they need? We need to be real about that. There's too many fathers out there who's making babies, but yet don't take the responsibility of this child, raising them and helping them to be better men and women for our future. It takes not just the mother, it takes the father too. But when we don't have that, the mother's got to do twice the job. My mom may felt like she had to do twice the job, but not really. My father was really around. I mean, he did not live with us, no. But, boy, don't get yourself in trouble, because when one of us got in trouble, we all got the punishment, I feel like. He would preach to each and every one of us. I guess because my father doesn't want once one did it, he made sure all of us hear it. So it was no playing the game here. Yeah, my father believed in you taking care of your responsibility and not expecting others to do your work. I mean, he would really be like on us about getting a good education. His goal was to make sure we all graduated from high school. That was his biggest goal. He was not caring if he didn't go to college because he didn't go, so he didn't feel like that was a force or a requirement of his. His belief was take care of yourself and be able to walk your own feet, you know. He did not want to see you struggling like he did back in the day. I mean, he wanted us to be better than that. That's why he was so hard on us. And he would preach to us saying he wants to see us succeed in something. Whether that was your own business, whether that was working at a job, whether that was getting an education. He didn't care which one it was, as long as you succeed, being proud of where you stand. And that's the one thing I can give my father credit for. He really, really was hard on that. And he was also hard on us being loving to each other as siblings, because he comes from a large family, and he did not believe in you abusing your sister or your brother. He believed that you should always be close to them, that you might lose your parents. You might not have your parents' support or help or at the time you need it. So having your sister or your brother is always good to have that extra support. And he would tell us. That's why I said, I am serious. When my brother got in trouble, I felt like the whole house got in trouble. That's why I be saying, man, you need to stop getting in trouble. We got to deal with that. So it wasn't even funny. It was true. And this is why I'm happy where I am today, because every time I talk to my father, I tell him, you was a good daddy. A father who stands strong for his entire family. That wasn't just us, his nephew and the nieces, even his grandchildren, he's on. Yeah. He was high on several things. He believed in you showing respect for all adults, showing love and comfort, being responsible. And he would say, there's many areas that you can be responsible for. Like when my mom said to clean her, he said, you should be cleaning her. Dance to her clean, get to clean. I said, you shouldn't be giving her no lick saying you ain't going to clean up. No, you should be over there cleaning up. There should be no issue for you not doing that. So, we got to let you on the cleaning, we got to let you on not doing our chores, and we got to let you if we didn't do our homework, we got to let you if we didn't obey mom. Ooh, if we didn't obey mom, we got the first lick on that. That right there on the phone. Well, what your kid wouldn't do? What your kid wouldn't do? I said, oh God. Oh man, that's just seriously. That's why I said it takes more than just paying a bill for a child. If you ain't really involved in that child's life and spending some time with that child and guiding him and leading him to be the child that you would like him to be when he gets older, that's including if you are raising male children, what example are you showing to that child to help him to be a better child today? Don't sit there and say, oh, I'm a daddy. I pay my bill. Do you spend time with your child? Do you show him the role models that you would like him to be when he gets older? Him or her? What do you think about that? It takes a lot to be a father. It's already bad enough the mothers take a lot more responsibility when they're not with the husband or whatever. It's 3 times the job because they're the ones that, take the duty and do whatever they have to do to make sure that you're raised right. Not everyone can say that, so. And I know this for a fact, and this is true. But I don't complain, I just say yes. Yes, yes, yes. But anyway, that was my topic for father. Tell them that they were wonderful fathers. Don't just only acknowledge it on Father's Day. Come on. I try my best to acknowledge that almost every time I see my parents. So that way they won't feel that negative. Because every parent makes an error. Every parent. Just remember that your parents did not have instruction when you were born. So don't get mad for some errors in life. And I always remember mom would say, if I knew what I knew today, I wouldn't have had no kids. I'd be saying, really, Mom? Do I have to hear this every time? She would say it all the time. But anyway, let me check my video. I'll be right back, guys. We seem to be fine. And by the way, happy summer! Woo! I decided I was planning on doing this video before I even started all my moving and all my cleaning and all my stuff. Now, talk about a lot of work to do before you can move. But forgive me for scratching my ears, kind of like they're going crazy. But anyway, a lot of people don't realize or recognize what some of us go through. I am hard of hearing, and then Miss Terp sometimes saying, "Wow, she can speak this good." She's lying that she's hard of hearing or whatever. Don't assume that you think you know what they are because you don't. And also, a lot of people don't realize what your situation may be. Now, being hard of hearing, I feel like that topic alone, growing up all my entire life, I have to fight for just being me. And that wasn't even any position, just being hard of hearing, getting the attention you required to get, you wasn't always able to get. Like for example, because I can speak, that was the advantage my parents got. Because I can speak, my mom ignored learning a helpful language for me to communicate with her on a better level. So when you're ignoring what a child really needs, you are also hurting them too. We should not be dependent on an easy way out for yourself. I know that's kind of maybe insulting, but I'm being honest. I mean, all my life I had to tolerate many areas. They tend to talk real fast, so sometimes I don't catch on the conversation. And sometimes when they're talking, they're looking over there, and I'm like, okay, it might really go past me because you're not looking at me when you're talking. And then when it came to TVs and movies, now the reason why a movie I might can catch more better because it's really loud in the theater. But the TV alone, sometimes that TV's on low volume. And before they even started accepting closed caption on your TV, my mother couldn't stand closed caption on TV. I'm like, and she wouldn't even try to find ways to get me closed caption on my TV. I'm like, seriously. So I never understood TV for the longest of time. And so people ask, you don't like watching TV? Not really. If it don't have closed caption, I don't want to waste my time sitting there watching TV. I mean, I feel like just because I can speak doesn't mean my hearing that I can hear you clearly. Because I don't. Some people don't, do you really? I said, if this hearing aid is not working, I have to depend on reading your lip. But I am thankful that God had blessed me in that area. You know, He had helped me to be where I am today. I mean, I could be in a situation where it's going to be difficult, but I thank God every day for that part of my life, you know. I tell people, be careful. Be careful when you see someone who has a hearing loss because they don't realize their situation. They could have been in a car accident to damage their ears. They could be, had it done that at birth, growing up. So we just don't know. Everyone is different. I was born and raised hard of hearing. So this speaking was a blessing to receive. And I had all kinds of speech therapists. And I would never tell no one that it was easy. No, it was nothing easy about that. I had everyone correcting my speaking. So this is why I can speak as well as I do, because I had so many people in my family getting on my little nerves. Ah, you didn't say that right. You need to say that again. Seriously? And they didn't realize that you're doing that. It was enough of a headache when I left. It was enough. You know, it was bad enough. I was dealing with other things like going to the deaf school. You need to know the type of language they need. People didn't recognize that when you go to a deaf school, you're not going to be doing exact sign language. They call it SE, exact sign language. I think the ES, or however they say ESL. But then you go to the deaf school, you're surrounded with more deaf people, you have to learn American Sign Language. It's very interesting when you learn it. So, yeah, I was a lost puppy. You know, did not fit in very well because I did not know that language. So I had to start at 13 years old learning American Sign Language. I already knew sign language, but not what they call communication language. That's just what I feel ASL is. More communicator. You can you will cut all the words that you use in SC. See, they sign everything in the language where they don't. So interesting. And then it made it tough because they didn't want you to talk. They didn't feel like you fitted in when you used your voice. They did not really criticize me, but still, you can feel that she always talks. She don't really, and I always use my sign language. Oh, I was strict on that. I always use my signing. So I did not believe in not using it when I, especially if someone is deaf standing there and you talking with your voice and not using sign language, to me that's rude. So that's how I saw life. Now that's where my difficulty came in when it came to the hard of hearing life. I go home and deal with my family who was hearing. No one knew sign language, so it made it tough. I had to suffer their way. They wasn't suffering mine. They wasn't even caring about what, they wasn't caring about how I felt. You was leaving me out. Taking advantage of, oh, she can speak, so she can understand. I had went to a party who some person I knew I grew up with, and her mom was the same way as my mom, but the only advantage she got was she can't speak. So her mother had to learn sign language. And you learning sign language was already the advantage for you, I didn't get it at all. So my mom, when you were signing to her, she wouldn't even understand what you're saying. And she should know what I'm saying, but she didn't. So the more older I became, the more painful and frustration I felt that she did not learn sign language. I mean, your support was great, but you not learning my language was kind of not good, Communication is very, very important in anyone's family. But I didn't say nothing, I just left it alone. As time went on, And then they get frustrated when you hear a hearing aid and you hear the hearing aid ringing. And they get frustrated with that. I'm thinking, well, excuse me that I'm not hearing. And then you hear some people want to change you. Oh, why don't you get surgery and put the hearing aid inside your ear? I said, hell no, I wasn't raised to change me. I just feel like, yes, I do depend on my hearing aid a lot because my partner is hearing and we do not use sign language like that. But I'm not going to abuse her for that, you know. But we also have to remember that it's you have to feel comfortable in your own skin, not anyone else. So don't spend time trying to change someone, because no one wants to feel that way. I mean, I can go on and on about my hard of hearing it. I mean, I really had a lot of pressure sitting in a hearing college and no one understanding that. They were more focused on the person who was completely deaf. Yes, they really need the interpreter, but don't get yourself wrong. A hard of hearing also needs an interpreter. They might can hear some things, but you want them to catch everything? They need an interpreter. I mean, there were so many things that didn't make sense. My last college didn't make no sense. Interpreter was cut in that school, and it didn't make any sense. I said, why are you cutting interpreters for people who are fully deaf? I got an argument with someone, I don't even know who it was, but I said, and told them, I said, they are deaf, they need interpreter. How are you cutting interpreters and they don't get interpreted? You think that, a woman that's typing everything the person say is going to help them? No. That type of people should be for hard of hearings. They didn't make any sense how they were running the show. That's another reason why I quit school. Because I said, I'm not going to be treated like shit just because you don't acknowledge my hard of hearingness and others that are deaf. They were so concentrating on the ones that were more disabled than us. I said, wow, we deserve to get the attention here. I didn't understand that. I mean, I wish I had fought a little bit more for that school before I had left, because I'm sure they're still dealing with the same shit before I had left. I still could not believe that they prefer to have a closed captioner instead of an interpreter, thinking they're saving money. I asked myself, what are you saving? You know, the school that I went to, my first college, they were honoring interpreters. They wouldn't even hire you if you did not have an interpreter certificate. What does that tell you? That they have more respect for the deaf community. But then you go to a college that don't even give a shit about your rights. I said, whoa, you shouldn't be ignoring that. That's why I say, if anyone is treating you like shit, you better get it straight. Because it's not fair to live in that type of world, tolerating that kind of thing.